All right, welcome back. We were sitting here talking, not paying attention. It's a good thing I wasn't doing my normal vocabulary. This segment brought to you by Games and Things, folks. If you're wanting to build or add on to your entertainment room, start with the best. And the best is Games and Things. They will they're the ultimate man cave store, as they say themselves. It's because life should be fun. All those things are true when you go to Games and Things. They've got poker tables, pool tables, bar stools, bar tops. They've got home theater seating, you name it, they got it. Games and Things. Check them out at ourgameroom.com. Okay, you make $9 million a year and fans are going to want to see some results. So my question, well, I'll just open it up here. What's the expectation level going to be? Let's say over the next, 10 years would be one heck of a run for anybody in college football these days. But let's just, since that's an even number, what's the expectation of the Tennessee fan after the taste they just got this year? Your coach is making $9 million. What's expected of Josh Heupel over the next 5 to 10 years, gentlemen?
Well, I think the one thing that really helps you, because the SEC championship or getting to Atlanta with Georgia, on your side of the conference.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Well, I'm getting there. And then Alabama, obviously, on your schedule every year is always hard. But the thing that works in their favor is the expanded playoff, because Tennessee getting there is very, very realistic. So, that's going to be the measure of success for a lot of schools, and it's a lot more realistic now. So 1 to 2 times a recruiting cycle, getting in the playoff, that seems, for what you're paying and what you've seen so far, that seems realistic to me.
I was going to say 2 to 3 playoff berths. I think that's going to be the bar for the next 10 years. I think somewhere in that range. If you're getting there every 4 years or so, you're probably okay. Like you were saying, basically a recruiting cycle. So I think that's probably going to be the measuring stick. I will say I think it was probably going to be there anyway, just based on the fact they got to 11 wins.
Yeah.
But the money makes it more okay, I think, for fans to feel that way, because there is a raised expectation that comes with handing out $9 million a year.
I think the expectation is going to be more than 2 or 3. Over a 10-year period, college football playoff, because you would have been in it this year, right? Mm-hmm. Now, to David's point a little bit too, you don't have to win the East Division or the SEC if you get in the college football playoff.
Right.
But I think that's where the expectation is, and I think it's going to be more than just 2 or 3 if you're making this kind of money. Because once you've had a good piece of steak and you've eaten that steak, you want to keep eating that steak, right?
Yeah.
You want to continue to have a good meal. I think that's raised the bar with him in terms of producing. So I think the expectations are getting in the college playoff maybe 50% of the time.
I think fans are always going to want what they don't have. We want the next thing. That's going to mean, all right, you make 2 or 3 trips to the playoff. Well, great. How long before you're viewed as Rick Barnes? When are you going to win the playoff? When are you going to reach the Final Four of the playoff?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Nobody here mentioned the word SEC championship.
Yeah.
Well,
I mentioned you didn't have to win it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I think you
if you get in the playoff.
The problem is that if you're getting into,
I think people are going to want one, though.
If you're getting to Atlanta, though, then you're probably one of the best, if not the best team in the country. And the reality is, especially in a new SEC, like Georgia, and as long as Nick Saban's Alabama, like they're just on another level.
You're about
everyone
to see
else.
that in a minute, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like like so. If you're in Atlanta, you're probably one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country, and that. In a peak year, sure, that's definitely possible. You could get there if you're Tennessee. But to say, well, if we aren't there, the program's not measuring up, like that is hard, and that is asking a lot. I'm not saying they won't ask it, but I'm saying that's asking a lot. But I think, so when you don't get to Atlanta, you don't win the SEC, you got to have something to show for it. Mm-hmm. You got to say, well, what did we win? Because people don't care, oh, we won the Peach Bowl. Okay, like people don't really care about it.
Butch Jones cared.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 9 wins. Like that's not going to get us. But
bowl.
if you say, "Hey, we've been to the playoff 2 of the last 4 years," that's something. You've got something to hang your hat on.
I think if Tennessee,
Go ask Rick Barnes about that.
Well, but that's that's something else. That's 64 teams, whatever. But it's at the end of the day, if you're getting in the field, that is saying, okay, we have something to say. We accomplished what this year? We made the playoffs.
Quickly. If Tennessee wins one SEC championship in the next decade, they've done well.
Yes.
With the way Georgia and Alabama have gotten, that's the new conference, especially with 16 teams.
Yeah, you're adding to the conference. You're adding a conference game.
Yeah.
You're probably going to go to 9 conference games.
Yeah.
I also wonder about this discussion. Are we having another discussion when he makes the playoff for the first time and you raise him to $10 million a year? Wait for that one.
Stick around for this. This is the thing I'm going to show you next. I've gone back and we're going to look at the records of the SEC-only records of all the teams in the league since Texas A&M and Missouri came. That's 11 years. So plenty of teams are only losing 1 game a year in the SEC, right? I mean, 2 is unacceptable. Nobody wanted that South Carolina loss this year. Oh, we're going to show you something. Would Tennessee fans even be happy to trade places with LSU? Well, let's see what LSU did over the last 11 years. Come on back.